This is Remix Report with your hosts, DJ JD and DJ J Spring. For the date of
February 26th, 2010.
Alright, so welcome to Remix Report episode 20. Today we have a special interview edition with our man DJ Deville from Crooklynclan.net.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Excellent.
Doing good.
Thank you for coming on, man.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I guess we'll start off by talking a little bit about Clan. I guess we want to start off talking about some of your newer stuff. What have you done lately that you'd like to recommend to people? I know you've had a lot of success taking songs like that are brand new, like Blah Blah Blah, and also your Nosy Neighbor by Akon did really good.
Oh yeah.
What are some of the other newer songs that you have on Clan that people should probably check out?
There's two things that I've been focusing on lately. One is when I do get a chance to get a hold of a studio a cappella, I've been trying to really show people that I do work on production, not only just as like drum remixing, but I also do full production as well, you know, doing electro remixes or, you know, maybe more of a synthy style remix, something that's pretty top 40 friendly. And I also been doing a lot of DJ tools. I'm actually focusing a lot of my efforts on transitions because that seems to be where a lot of DJs are spending their money now, because it really enhances their ability to go from one up-tempo or slow-tempo song to the opposite very quickly without too much abrupt, you know, nature and without shocking the crowd. So I'm trying to come up with creative ways to segue from one song to another that keeps the crowd flowing without, you know, stopping the energy. There's a couple that I guess I would recommend as far as my actual production. One that it's funny that it seems like it's blowing up north is my Money to Blow electro remix that I did a while back. I actually released it before the song got hot, so I think it was a little mistake on my part. I should have waited before the song got a lot of radio airplay. But I believe, I'm not sure if I sent it to you guys or not, but I'm trying to get that out on the blogs now because I had some time on Crooklynclan. It did pretty well, but I want everybody to hear it because it's probably the most unique sound because it's got a lot more electro sound than a lot of the other ones that I've heard. And then another one that I actually did was Carry Out. It's got almost a break sound to it. I really like it a lot. I just released that this last week. So if you want to hear something that's a little bit different, it's got a real dark sound to it. I kind of changed it so that I like Carry Out. My new Carry Out remix is really dope. I've got some new ones coming up this week as far as transitions are concerned. I got that, you know, obviously you guys know about Lil Wayne on Fire. Is that pretty hot over where you guys are?
Yeah, it's just starting to pick up.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing that one where I'm going to be taking the original sample. I believe it's Amy Houston or something. It's from 1983. Scarface, obviously. That's where everybody knows that sample from. I'm going to come up with a cool way to incorporate the original sample and the original vocalist and then basically morph into that, you know, the Lil Wayne that everybody's starting to know and everybody's starting to like a lot. So I'm going to be working on that. I like those types of transitions to keep... I always like to pay homage to the original samples because that's where all this music comes from, you know, especially in today's hip-hop. Everything's getting, you know, taken from something old and classic that we all kind of know where it came from, but a lot of people forgot what it actually was. So I really like to pay respect to that sort of thing.
Now, on that note, a lot of the stuff that you put out on Clan, you have a really eclectic like taste. You're always doing a lot of rock. I think this week you just put out a James Brown tune. Right?
Oh yeah.
When you play live, do you mix it up a lot like that?
I have to say yes and no. Mainly because I have such a wide musical flavor, and I know a lot of DJs do as well. I try to stay crowd sensitive. You know, obviously, if there's a crowd of something that's nothing but 20-year-olds or, you know, early 30s, they may not appreciate that. But I do a lot of parties where there's 50-year-old people there, and they might like some James Brown, and I'll throw it in, and it actually gets an awesome reaction. It's just a matter of, you know, obviously reading your crowd. So there's always a time and a place for certain things like that. But I like to say that I do try to put it in as much as possible, but it's not always appropriate. But I just for my own sake as a producer, I like to do those sorts of things because when it comes time to play that song, I want a DJ friendly version that can actually work. Like I make Rick James edits all the time because, you know, everybody loves a little Rick James here and there. So yeah. So it's good stuff. I just try to do that. I like the 70s because I used to do weddings. I'll admit it. I used to do weddings.
I think every DJ.
Everybody, you got to do it. You got to do it.
I still do weddings sometimes because that's where the money's at, man.
Oh yeah, you know, there's no shame in the game there. So I mean, that's where you can. That's the biggest opportunity to play those types of songs because you got such a wide age group there. You got to play it once in a while. So
How does that age group respond to some of your remixes that have like the extra kick? Do they like that?
Yeah, actually, a lot of them do. As you know, it's one of those things where that's why I also make hype and no hype versions because sometimes it's not appropriate. You know, it's you kind of do it. I've noticed that the whole party break era has kind of faded. It's more about just playing the hot tracks the right way. I still make them because there is a lot of people that still like the party hype. But there's a lot of venues that actually discourage it. I've noticed a lot of club owners even say that, look, you know, we don't want to hear all the party breaks all the time. So, you know, you got to just play straight through music. So I try to make production that's compatible with everybody's different styles.
So you've actually heard that from the club owners?
Yeah, it's from like, you know, when you have guest DJs come in, you hear that once in a while because there are some. I've admittedly heard some DJs that really focus on the party break style, and it works. It really does, but it doesn't necessarily work for everybody. So that's one thing I have noticed as well. So that's why I think I've noticed a lot of different producers that are doing that, where they, you know, when you make your bundles, there's a no hype, there's a, you know, maybe like a little bit of hype just to add a little bit of flavor, and then there's absolutely no hype. So that's why I try to be sensitive to everybody's different needs as DJs.
So you've obviously take a lot of what you do from your experience as a DJ. How long have you been DJing?
I'm actually going on 11 years. I've been doing it professionally in nightclubs for about 8 to 9. I started out as kind of like just you know, I broke in early. I was like 16 years old when I started. I was doing like Coyote Ugly parties. I got started off with a really good scene up north, obviously, in Wisconsin. And I started learning the nightclubs, I learned the ropes, and then I started doing the weddings. That's how I learned my old music. Really built up my flavor and my taste and what I like about music. And, you know, then I moved to Florida and incorporated all that, and I've been very successful with it. I've been very lucky. So
that's great. So you were saying you moved to Florida to attend Full Sail University, which is a music production, learning how to do production and recording school that I know a lot of people look into, especially like kids that are just getting out of high school looking to get into the field. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience there?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I started out, I was 19 when I went. I didn't know what to expect. A lot of people think you're going to be working on, you know, fancy $5 million consoles all day, doing, making these gigantic remixes. You know, you're going to learn how to, like, a lot of people thought they were going to end up being producers right out the gate. It's not the case. It's actually a bookworm school. You got to, like, I've got a stack of books that you couldn't even fit on the screen. It's massive. Like, there's so much work you have to do on a day-to-day basis. We're taking tests every 2 weeks. It was intense. There was no semesters. It was just week after week after week. So if you are interested in going to that sort of school, you got to be prepared to focus on it for at least a year, potentially 2 if you want to get your degree. And I recommend saving up a little bit of money because it's not cheap. I actually checked tuition because I was going to go back and get my bachelor's. It's a stack of cash. So I mean, but the reality is, though, it's worth the money. I mean, it really is. If that's something you want to get into and you really want to dedicate your life to it, it's absolutely right school. I saw a lot of people drop out. And it's because they weren't ready for it. They didn't know what they were getting into. I mean, thankfully, my head was in the right place when I went, and I was learning what they were actually teaching. So it was definitely a good experience, and I recommend it to people that, you know, music is truly their passion and they want to do it for a long time. So.
Remixreport.com